I went to St. Louis, Missouri the other day. They had Black Panthers from all over the country. No one knew about it at all. They had machine guns, recoilless rifles, grease guns, Lugers, 25 of them, all armed. And the chief police met me at the airport when I arrived. They were there, right there at the steps. He said you were violating the law. Yeah, we're violating the law. He said, we're tired of our white and black leaders, Jackie and Martin and Bobby being killed. We're going to protect this man right here. They didn't arrest one of them. Because they said if you arrest one, then someone's going to die. Because we are ready to kill. Black power means black dignity. Just as surely as you're proud to be white, we're proud to be black. Black is beautiful, baby. It's pretty. I always say to my brothers, I say, they don't worry about white chicks. We got everything from chalk to charcoal in our own race. And that's it. Black is beautiful. Black power means dignity. Means we're gonna walk side by side with you, or through you. We're gonna be with dignity and integrity. We don't want any more than you have, and we're not gonna accept any less than you have. That's not enough.
Progress is being made. If you take a knife that might take 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less trying to heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Right up to the Ophanim and Black Missionary Block Party. Tonight, September 7th, Saturday, and breaking Assata Shakur, fast, and all English stuff. Uh, so, a tribute to Shakur and let them hear the tribute. They say want to go away from do there. You know what I mean?
used August 19, 1952 as her birthday. However, she was born as Joanne Deborah Bryan, what she calls her slave name, in Jamaica, Queens, New York, where she grew up moving back and forth between her mom, aunt, and grandparents in Wilmington, North Carolina. Growing up in the Jim Crow era, Shakur's grandparents, Lola and Frank Hill, who owned a local dance hall, instilled in her a sense of dignity, especially regards to white people. They would tell her things like, "You're as good as anyone else. Don't let anyone tell you that they're better than you." And when it came to white people, she was forbidden from calling them ma'am or sir, looking down while speaking to them, or any other subservient gestures. In her autobiography, she writes, "I was told to hold my head up high or risk having my grandparents knock it off my shoulders." Although Shakur experienced racism earlier in life, she wouldn't begin to radicalize into her late teen years. At 17 years old, Shakur dropped out of school and moved out on her own. She lived with strangers for a while until her Aunt Evelyn, who later became her lawyer, took her in and helped her get her GED. She would go on to attend Bureau of Manhattan Community College and later City College of New York. She made friends with many of the African students on campus. Then one day in 1964, a discussion on the roots of the Vietnam War changed her life. "I never forgot that day. We're taught at such an early age to be against communists, yet most of us don't have the faintest idea what communism is. Only a fool lets somebody else tell him who his enemy is." She became active in different organizations like the Garveyites in the Republic of New Africa. And in the late 1960s, Assata would join one of the most prominent political organizations, the Black Panther Party. Though brief, her time with the Black Panthers would mark a life-changing turn of events in her political career. She had always revered the message of the Black Panther Party, especially because they made it really clear who the enemy was. Not the white people, but the capitalistic, imperialistic oppressors. Shakur has said that the party not being open to criticism led to her exit from the organization. In her autobiography, she writes, "Constructive criticism and self-criticism are extremely important for any revolutionary organization. Without them, people tend to drown in their own mistakes, not learning from them." Government infiltration, namely COINTELPRO, among other factors, led to the demise of the Black Panther Party, but not before its most prominent members had turned against each other, been killed, falsely imprisoned, or demonetized in the media. These events gave way to the Black Liberation Army, a group that the FBI named Shakur the heart of. BLA members operated under the belief that only through covert means, including but not limited to violent acts, could the movement be continued. This underground Black Party spinoff built its tactics around revolutionary violence with the goal to take up arms for the liberation of Black people in the United States. Acting as her own co-counsel in a 1976 trial for murder, Assata claimed in her opening statement, "The Black Liberation Army is not an organization. It goes beyond that. It is a concept, a people's movement, an idea. The idea of a Black Liberation Army emerged from conditions in Black communities. Conditions of poverty, indecent housing, massive unemployment, poor medical care, and inferior education." She continued, "The concept of the BLA arose because of its political, social, and economic oppression of Black people in this country. And where there is oppression, there will be resistance." From 1971 to 1973, Shakur was alleged to have committed a series of heinous crimes: 2 bank robberies in New York, the kidnap of a drug dealer, armed robbery, and the attempted murder of a policeman in an ambush. In 1972, the FBI issued a warrant for her arrest in connection with these crimes allegedly committed by the BLA. It was clear that the Black Liberation Army was a target for the FBI, local police agencies, and they were being pinned with every violent crime in the area. Assata would later either be acquitted for every charge or the case was dismissed. Then came the events of May 2nd, 1973, the fatal Jersey Turnpike shootout. There are different accounts of what happened that night, but what we do know is that Assata and her political associates, Zaid Malik Shakur and Sindada Akoli, were stopped by State Trooper James Harper, backed up by Trooper Wiener Forster for driving with a broken taillight. Shots were fired and Zaid Shakur and Wiener Forster were killed. After fleeing the scene, Assata, wounded with 2 gunshots to the arm and the back, surrendered to the police, and Akoli was captured after a 36-hour manhunt. Only the survivors know what really happened that night, and Assata refuses to share details even to this day. But in 1977, upon being found guilty, Assata maintains that the jury convicted a woman with her hands up. The trial was considered by many to be a miscarriage of justice, beginning with the jury selection. Transcripts show that at least 2 of the juries expressed prejudice before the start of the trial. 5 out of the 15 jurors selected, all white, were close friends or relatives to New Jersey state troopers. A major key in Assata's defense was medical testimony proving that during the confrontation, she was shot with her hands up, sustaining paralyzing wounds that would make her unable to fire a weapon in the manner that Trooper Harper had testified. Harper's testimony conflicted throughout the trial, and he testified to lying in his official report on the incident as well as in his grand jury testimony. And though there were no forensic evidence proving that Assata ever touched a gun that night, the jury found her guilty on all 8 counts. She was sentenced to life plus 30 years. Shakur spent years in jail before her conviction under conditions that most would consider to be deplorable. In her autobiography, she tells of being embarrassed and even tortured by police in the hospital after the incident. She was chained to her hospital bed and interrogated while gravely injured. She was even held in an all-male prison in solitary confinement for over 20 months and under 24-hour surveillance. She was beaten and given less than adequate medical care, even when she became pregnant with her only daughter, Kakuya. When the prison first found out she was pregnant, a doctor not only lied about her diagnosis multiple times, but he also refused to provide Shakur with any support besides an abortion. So in 1979, Assata Shakur had decided that it was time to go. On November 2nd, she escaped from the Clinton Correctional Facility for Women. It is said that a group of members of the Black Liberation Army helped Shakur escape by posing as visitors to the prison. Holding 2 correctional officers hostage at gunpoint, they stole a prison van to get off the facility grounds, leaving the hostages in the parking lot before switching cars and fleeing the scene. Shakur refuses to go into detail about her escape in solitary with those incarcerated due to their involvement. After breaking out of prison, Assata went on the run and remained underground for 5 years until fleeing to Cuba and receiving political asylum in 1984. To this day, Shakur remains in Cuba with the FBI classifying her as a domestic terrorist since May 2nd, 2005. In 2013, on the 40th anniversary of Trooper Foister's death, Shakur became the first woman added to the FBI's most wanted terrorist list. They placed a $2 million bounty on the activist. In 1998, Shakur told Source magazine, "The U.S. government tried to eliminate me, but I'm not a criminal like they want you to believe. Or a gangster. The FBI has a way of leaking all kinds of stories about me to the press, the same way they've always tried to criminalize the Black liberation movement. Because of this, we as a people have to be really clear about who we are and what we stand for. Even today, we see the media misconstrue the facts in many cases of social injustice, but with the emergence of social media, we're able to see the truth play out in real time. Robert Doyle, a lawyer connected to the BLA, is quoted in the book Days of Rage as saying, "Assata was never this massively important figure the police portrayed her as. She was important, but the police made up this mythic image of a super Black woman with an afro and a machine gun. She was never that." When asked if she would ever return to the United States, Assata told Essence magazine in 1997, "I don't know. I think it will be hard. It's funny. People ask me if I miss the States. I miss African Americans. I miss our culture, our speech, dance, and cooking, but not the U.S. government and all the things that they put me through. I miss my friends and family. When I ask how things are in the States, they don't give me the okie dokie. They say, honey, things are hard. It reminds me I have to keep struggling." And at the age of 75 years old, Assata Shakur remains in Cuba. Stay up to date with the latest news by subscribing here to our YouTube.
Can I make a comment about the last statement altogether? Because this is the thing that bothers me right now. I've heard from brothers and sisters, and they said that, her body needs to come back to the Americas for what? Why does her body need to come back here? And why are they trying to get her body over to do what? To turn around and make a mockery out of her? To turn around and degrade her, respect her, and we're going to go along with that. And that's a negative altogether for any brother or sister to say, Cuba opened the doors. Look how long she had to wait after they turned her. And they don't even talk about how they broke her arm. They broke her arm. They broke her arm. And some of the stuff that they did to her, she don't even tell you that. They did way more. They raped her. This is the thing right here. She needs to stay in Havana. And if her family loves her as much as they say they do love her, you fly to Cuba and go over there and be with her. But leave her there. Her body belongs in Cuba. And that's where it shall stay. The white man,
family. Right?
Dr. Daddy is not going to keep on defaming, disrespecting our
But
people.
her legacy is what not at the location of what you visit, you know.
You breaking up.
But that's how you we have Joe. What else we got on here?
You
Uh,
breaking up. Lightning, you breaking up.
Joe, yeah.
Is anybody
I'm
else on there?
having a problem. I don't know. I know I logged on earlier, but I can log on. Uh, well, anyway, play this.
Akbar, you are not Akbar, damn.
As long as you
Shabaka, you on here? This is 4 people on here. Where the
Shabbat,
other people
I'm
at?
on ice, but I should, but they probably would some of them. But the main, what we do, uh,
You
to
breaking up.
Assata Shakur, and today, September the 27th, it's 16 p.m. And let's just right on 7:16 uh, for the Blue Revolutionary Block Party and celebration of the
But
Assad.
you breaking up. You breaking up altogether. And then on top of this, with you breaking up, and actually, you act like you don't care. You breaking up because I'm sure that what you need to share is very pertinent. So take your
So
time
I
out for that.
tell me
This is
on
very
that
serious.
I record said here. Let me
Well,
get
whatever. Like I'm gone. If you want to say broken up or whatever, you don't want to take it serious.
well, let me hold on.
Before announcing one of the who's one
Hold on.
Is it me? Because the
I don't know.
sister, there's somebody talking, the sister talking, and that's broken up too.
Unless,
national Jack Harris for decades. Her was fought out. I her county award $1 million. Break out, Joseph, a black army in the 1970s. Trooper.
all right. Let me.
Research Cuban.
Liberation of oppressed people in the United States has to do not with climbing up some ladder to success, not for asking to be just like Rockefeller or just like DuPont or just like Ford, because that would only continue the oppression and exploitation of oppressed people in the United States, and specifically African people born and raised in the United States. Socialism is an integral part of building social justice on this planet. The condition of my people, my history, was very much connected with other oppressed people, and I began to see that the same foot that was on the necks of the Vietnamese people, that was on the necks of all oppressed people on the planet, was the same foot that was on my neck. And so I began to understand that imperialism has to go. It is a poison that is killing people all over this world. The priorities of this planet have to be completely changed. And instead of profit, instead of policies that destroy the earth, that destroy the water, that destroy human beings, I believe a policy that protects people, that makes people live in a community, a world community. That's what I believe. That's my basic.
Cool, man.
Yeah, you still breaking up.
All right. Or just keep going. So it's the be. stuff me thinking something about welfare ahead of time. Let me see this. Try to check. No, better.
No, it's not. You're still breaking up. Where's everybody else on here? You said you got 4 people in there. Where the rest of the people at?
That might be echo.
Well, my thing is, this is a problem right here. You people act like it's not serious in order to celebrate
Don't
whatever about Assata Shakur transition.
yeah, I mean about Assata Shakur that we doing Assata tonight.
So with the jokers not being on here, they must think that it's okay to turn around and laugh at us.
Not
So is there some kind of comedy
this
show
is my time. I'm
going on here? Is there
Shabaka
a
be
comedy
on
show?
Tuesday if you want
I'm trying to figure
Shabaka.
out, wait a minute. I need to know because you breaking
I'm
up.
a
40 years, the FBI has been searching for this woman. They believed for all this time that she had been in Cuba, but they were not able to extradite her from Cuba because of the bad relations that we had with Fidel Castro. As you point out, we are learning about her death today, and it was all around the conviction and the execution-style murder of a New Jersey state trooper. He was 32-year-old Wiener Forrester, and this came as a result. He was shot and killed as a result of the police stopping the car that she was in because she had been part of a nationwide manhunt because she was a suspect in a grenade attack on police back in the early 1970s. And as you point out, she escaped from that prison, went to Cuba. She was born in 1947 in New York, grew up in New York and North Carolina. And at one point, she had joined the Black Panthers and became a part of the Black Liberation Army. And you point out also that she changed her name. And living in Cuba all this time, they had even thought that when Barack Obama was president, when he went over to Cuba, that he might bring up this case and try to get her from Cuba. Didn't happen. According to Cuban authorities, she died in of old age and of health complications. She was 78 years.
All right, so I'm just saying this all together, right? And there's other ways someone can die. And I'm just saying this all together to the point that you in Cuba, right? And you already know you can get the fruits and stuff off the trees. We already know that Cuba has one of the best facilities in the country, and that includes Canada. Cuba has exceeded over that, right? And so I think that the problem was the stress. Because even when somebody wants to talk about Barack Obama, like I want to talk about him like he's some motherfucking sick. Oh, excuse me for cursing. Like he is someone that someone's supposed to look up to, right? He ain't nothing either. He ain't nothing. None of them jokers is nothing. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? And they don't. You know, we got to go back to the original way of how it was being. Right? Know your place or whatever. They need to learn their place. Look,
right.
every time, we
What you're
supposed to
doing,
learn our place, they don't know place.
getting us to we want because we stick to the topic and the a celebration for life. Yeah, she was a celebration. She be let it play. Let's just play.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if he wasn't breaking up.
Friday. Home convicted. The National Association, Smith telling me she should have been U.S. alone. Why wasn't it done to women which the act describes as one of the most militant organizations of the 1970s?
Yeah, like this, be still. Stop moving.
in New Jersey. I guess family can have measure now, but I never really did. In 1978, from prison, circulating in Cuba in 1984, into the legal Castro, a visitor of the Ophanim. Speaking with NBC in 1998, check mark in her innocence. Did you shoot?
No, I was with my
In 2013, the FBI named her the first woman on the terrorist list. The war for her capture was Joe
Callahan releasing a statement from a reaction
work to bring justice. She's passed away without being held fully accountable for her. Now, back in March, Scott and Ted legislation getting the extradition of fugitives already in Cuba back to the United States. It's been referred to as relation. The national.
And Barack Obama raised it to $2 billion. It was 1 million, and he raised $2 million. Barack Obama. And here's some more.
The state of Mississippi doubled the capture $1 million. Shakur was convicted in 1973 of a New Jersey state trooper during a shoot that one of her activists dead. She was twice during the 1960 match from jail, and she later to Cuba to see political freedom. She has lost her on Thursday. Special aid for the president announcing placement on terrorists. Her first Joe her original.
Openly and freely in Cuba, she continued to obtain promote her terrorist ideology. She provides
Next man, police.
liberation, message, pollution, and terror. No person, no matter what her political or moral conviction, is above the law. Joanne is a domestic terrorist who murdered or
That's a special agent Ford. That will be two guests, Scholar and Davis, and Stevens, who faced her own murder trial days ago. And Lennox Assata Shakur a long time for some 30 years. But first, we turn to Assata Shakur in her own words. In 1988, Democracy aired her open letter to John Fulton during his Cuba. She wrote this after New Jersey state troopers sent the Pope a letter asking him to call her extradition.
My name is Assata Shakur, and I was born and raised in the United States. I am a descendant of Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America as slaves. I spent early childhood in a racially segregated. I lived in the northern of the country where I realized that Black people were equally victimized by racism and prejudice. I grew up, became a political activist, participating in student struggle, the anti-movement, and most of all, in the movement for the liberation of African Americans in the United States. I later joined the Black Panther Party, an organization that was founded by the Health Program, a program that was set up by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to eliminate political positions to the U.S. government policies, destroy the liberation of the United States, credit and to everybody leaders. Under the Health Program.
Oh, okay. It looks but maybe to give it time to hit the Netherlands. Like Ophanim, and we shout out to Assata Shakur tonight, and everything be all right. And look, I dropped the stage. My sister dropping people to the stage. Yeah, I have to phone in here. Systems updated. Yeah. Welcome back, Jeff. Uh, any anything on Bob Black revolutionary, Black Panther activist lady in the politics? I can't. I don't know if you see. All right. Let me see. What the hell happened? Let's see. Try to check 1, 2. Don't see. Hmm. Well, okay. I'm gonna try. But in the meantime, I better go ahead and play what and keeping.
My name is Assata Shakur, and I was born and raised in the United States. I am a descendant of Africans who were kidnapped and brought to the Americas as slaves. I spent my early childhood in the racist segregated South. I later moved to the northern part of the country, where I realized that black people were equally victimized by racism and oppression. I grew up and became a political activist, participating in student struggles, the anti-war movement, and most of all, in the movement for the liberation of African Americans in the United States. I later joined the Black Panther Party, an organization that was targeted by the COINTELPRO program, a program that was set up by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to eliminate all political opposition to the U.S. government's policies, to destroy the Black liberation movement in the United States, to discredit activists, and to eliminate potential leaders. Under the COINTELPRO program, many political activists were harassed, imprisoned, murdered, or otherwise neutralized. As a result of being targeted by COINTELPRO, I, like many other young people, was faced with the threat of prison, underground, exile, or death. The FBI, with the help of local police agencies, systematically fed false accusations and fake news articles to the press, accusing me and other activists of crimes we did not commit. Although in my case the charges were eventually dropped or I was eventually acquitted, the national and local police agencies created a situation where, based on their false accusations against me, any police officer could shoot me on sight. It was not until the Freedom of Information Act was passed in the mid-'70s that we began to see the scope of the United States government's persecution of political activists. At this point, I think that it is important to make one thing very clear. I have advocated, and I still advocate, revolutionary changes in the structure and in the principles that govern the United States. I advocate self-determination for my people and for all oppressed people inside the United States. I advocate an end to capitalist exploitation, the abolition of racist policies, the eradication of sexism, and the elimination of political repression. If that is a crime, then I am totally guilty. To make a long story short, I was captured in New Jersey in 1973 after being shot with both arms held in the air and then shot again from the back. I was left on the ground to die, and when I did not, I was taken to a local hospital where I was threatened, beaten, and tortured. In 1977, I was convicted in a trial that can only be described as a legal lynching. In 1979, I was able to escape with the aid of some of my fellow comrades. I saw this as a necessary step, not only because I was innocent of the charges against me, but because I knew that the racist legal system in the United States, I would receive no justice. I was also afraid that I would be murdered in prison. I later arrived in Cuba, where I am currently living in exile as a political refugee. The New Jersey State Police and other law enforcement officials say they want to see me brought to justice. But I would like to know what they mean by justice. Is torture justice? I was kept in solitary confinement for more than 2 years, mostly in men's prisons. Is that justice? My lawyers were threatened with imprisonment and imprisoned. Is that justice? I was tried by an all-white jury without even the pretext of impartiality and then sentenced to life in prison plus 33 years. Is that justice? Let me emphasize that justice for me is not the issue I am addressing here. It is justice for my people that is at stake. When my people receive justice, I am sure that I will receive it too.
Assata Shakur, rest in power. All right. Well, don't have tonight. Actually, everything the phone. My phone got on. That's why two. Uh, that's why it's two people on stage when can't get the other. But anyway, it is. And so but they do have a few things on here. So I think we'll come back to you with part two tomorrow. Yeah, I like quick ones. You know, quick is good. But let's read. Like I say, today, September 27th, and looks like the 25th, we Assata Shakur, rest in power.
Run over 40 years, the FBI has been searching for this woman. They believed for all this time that she had been in Cuba, but they were not able to extradite her from Cuba because of the bad relations that we had with Fidel Castro. As you point out, we are learning about her death today, and it was all around the conviction and the execution-style murder of a New Jersey state trooper. He was 32-year-old Rena Forrester, and this came as a result. He was shot and killed as a result of the police stopping the car that she was in, because she had been part of a nationwide manhunt because she was a suspect in a grenade attack on police back in the early 1970s. And as you point out, she escaped from that prison, went to Cuba. She was born in 1947 in New York, grew up in New York and North Carolina. And at one point, she had joined the Black Panthers and became a part of the Black Liberation Army. And you point out also that she changed her name. And living in Cuba all this time, they had even thought that when Barack Obama was president, when he went over to Cuba, that he might bring up this case and try to get her from Cuba. Didn't happen. According to Cuban authorities, she died in of old age and of health complications. She was 78 years
78 years. Yep, on the 78th level, and that's a high level to, especially being a revolutionary. You know, and so many are still stuck in dungeons just for putting in the work. Gracious. And as long as you can't doing anything illegal, they shouldn't have to face any kind of criminal uh, crime. They just, oh, a little bit too revolutionary, or maybe speak up a little bit too much, you know, that type of thing. Matter of fact, I see if in this. Hold up. See if I can pick it up. All right. See. We definitely need to hit the news now.
4th of July, 1856. While America had freedom of words and speeches, a different scene on a Georgia plantation. Beneath an oak tree, a man in tightened the rope with his hands. His name was Carter, slave of freedom to celebrate. In the silence of the night, he turned the proudest heart to a triumph. The overseer once cracked the whip, gasped for air under the same sky that proclaimed liberty. On independence, freedom's through words, but through the words of a man. Joseph Carter was born in chains. His first rose not in Mexico, but in a wood where air, sweat, ash, and sorrow. His mother lullaby to drown the music of the overseer's wit, but even her words carried the fear. Childhood for Joseph was measured in toys and lessons, but in captives on tight hands, and the ache of hunger in an empty stomach. The fact, the divided world, the big house loaded with chandeliers, silver cup, and silk gowns. Just beyond, the slave quarters seated under dirt floors and hunger. The contrast to Joseph. He learned silence live, but to watch with his thinking was safe to dream of. Yet there were fragments of beauty.
And that story of Carter, and we're going to be coming to that on the Black Lion TV for tonight with the Assata Shakur, Reverend Power, and like the, yeah, maybe if it'll be,
Only fragments.
might bring it, do it real. It might be for me. Something.
Yo, you got me, you like that's it. Shatter.
I'm not.
Just be a back every line. Spit on the now what last spit the brand. You built the fake that fine world you crack from the side off with the wrong with the lies and sweet. The voice for the people required. I'll never forget you had it well. That conversation in yourself, you in the front of the cloud, the sky, the pole, the mind, speak this message. It's in it, I'm here in fact, rebuilding capital, just fingerprint all over, but the store coming up for a leak, a high flag like a where you think what the track that's political thing, thousands of on the back of kids and kids and tax, in a leaf, the parents, who have not go, the food to walk, to the big shit, feet, You built the whole watching from in talk your walls in the line between the voice to the people America where you well that comment looking at it look at the shooting of the cloud and the king of the sky to pull the mask and see it now you it's been a week the guy let's say news I thought breaking this while I'm down boring you say me like when I'm the guy say deserve every delete feel like
Good
me or something you up you so
somewhere.
you built this that you craft shots so big with the line the boy America you had it well that color it ain't looking you ain't a just a cloud in the king I'm the pull the back of the feds I'm respect but get it up in the wind that's my for my that's fine you're you know some for them because got a brother for life just you live it's when I have to perfection change face. I know that it's both they can't put a whole need for the whole Jesus this and the go keeping it yo. Mama took me every day for this and my father that I can keep my kids. I try to get the head down to and you can man stop it that dangerous. My life thank you. Watching the crowd from in talk the wall keep up the free the voice to the people fire the sea America black is wet the common community yourself your fault just cloud in the sky the pull the match welcome to the life caught up by being in fact this is just not fucking kid like I'm feeling like that look talk about I know the perfect world ain't no need to ask what's up away we die the picture is rise wanna live life dreaming for my fucking love but told me and then I okay fucking the box with my body I can turn to you turning up into the party the thing like I'm playing it in the prevent talk hoping but then I go to not and not talking the morning when it the eat the crowd the song of big no play that play try and the whole world watching you crazy I'm so big with the walls and the lines between the voice of the people
Speaking of the people, the military boys, those people, I got this up on my one of them on here, but vice as that's how it goes when you try to fly the when when you get
like it be around when the club more from bad bitches some bad blood so it's the people I guess niggas fresh night and jack me with my get me to the red that's what I make that found job
Tennessee cross. Nah,
the way it's over. Nobody trying to make it over. I need to get the most. I can't comprehend. I did this. Niggas get raised on the most. If they want to do this,
I have to stuff. You're there.
trying to
I gotta yeah, but hit the oh, put it because shut, about. This song gets anyway.
Like a man, homie, talk about the couch. Let's go get it. Make it. Who thought the nigga picture blue and down? Fuck your top gas. Fuck your way. Catching it back. That nigga talking shit. This thing. This shit. Ain't nobody that shit. And I'm a thing. And I'm a thing. Cause a nigga like I never take get it right. Run up your life. One stick, one shot.
Your brother, Black, oh, bro. The close word to Assata Shakur for sure. And since the X, I'm gonna get out of here. Seems like turn left. Did that? Nah, take no. Uh, we got photo, but might as well. One. Oh, here we go. Oh, can't do. Oh, and he shot YN here. Keep it live, keep it, keep it real, keep it live, alive. You know,
Your entire show has been choppy.
it really, it just the talking of the videos, right?
Videos, the music, and you talking.
Really? Oh, huh. They might have devices or something.
Tried to
Well,
tell you in the chats.
huh? Oh yeah, I saw that. Uh huh. Well, I know other devices on the down, the power down, but it stays on stage because of kind of echo. You know, it's like having devices next to each other. Can't even on. Can't even call me on. You know, it's all good. Though. I can hear you fine. So how's it doing the family? You know,
We make out what you're saying.
you can't make a fan. Oh wow. Okay, I'm just going to sit down. Okay. Okay.